as well. I can go with him and have them both come.
The winning number today is 1. Homework. If you have the homework with all the problems worked out and all the work shown, then you can bring it up here. 20 out of 23 had their homework, and that translates into 87%. Here are the answers. Put a check mark beside the ones you get right, and we'll discuss any steps and stuff like that after we go through the answers. Number 1, 15 hours, 44 minutes. Number 2 is 8 hours, 23 minutes. 3 is 15 hours. 4 is 12 hours, 48 minutes. 5 is 3 hours, 58 minutes. 6 is 1 hour, 36 minutes. 7 is 57 minutes. 8 is 4 hours, 10 minutes. 9 is 1 hour, 52 minutes. 10 is 36 minutes. Objective. Use units as a way to understand problems and to guide the solution of multi-step problems. Choose and interpret units consistently in the formulas. Choose and interpret the scale and the origin in graphs and data displays. We have not made it to this part yet, the back end of that. We'll do that next week. Knowledge targets. Calculate unit conversions. Recognize units given or needed to solve a problem. You have a test tomorrow. It'll be over what we've done this week, and we're going to review the different types of problems that'll be on the test. Alright, for the first one, what is the average length in feet and inches of the following boards? 6 feet, 2 inches, 4 feet, 9 inches, and 7 feet, 3 inches. What should I do first to solve the problem? Yeah, 6 by 12, and then what? That's right. So 6 times 12 plus 2 will give us 74 inches. And do the same thing to the rest of those. 4 times 12 plus 9 would give me 45. Or not 45. 4 times 12 is 48. And plus 9 would be 57. Isn't that right? Alright. And then 7 times 12 is 84 plus 3 is 85. Did everybody get 74, 57, and 85? Alright, if you have that, you're on the right track. Now, you have to add all of them up. So 74 and 57 is 131. 131 plus 85 is 216. Oh, 87? Yeah, you're right, it's 87. My fault. I'm just making all kinds of typos today. Now, if I go back and re-add these, 74 plus 57 is 131, and 131 plus 87 is going to be 218. All right, 218. So that's the length, or that's the sum of the lengths of the boards. But we have to do what to it to find the average? Divide by 3, yes. So 218 divided by 3 is going to come out to be 72.6 repeating. So that's the average length in inches. We have to round this, and when we round it to the nearest inch, we look at the tenths place, and if it's 5 or higher, we round up. Yeah.
Where do we get the
The three came from this right here. We have 3 different measurements, and when we find the average, we converted them all to inches first, but once we did that, we added all 3 up to get the sum, and to find the average, you divide by the number of measurements you have. So we have 3 of them. And we're going to round 72.6 repeating to what number? 73. So now we convert 73 inches into feet and inches. So how many times will 12 go into 73 without going over? 6 times, but we have something left over. What is 6 times 12?
72.
What's the difference between 72 and 73? Alright, so 6 feet 1 inch would be the answer. John has a board that is 6 feet 2 inches, and Julie has a board that's 9 feet 4 inches. How much longer is Julie's board than John's board? What would I have to do to start this problem? Yeah, convert to inches. So let's convert this one to inches. That means we have to do 6 times 12 and then add 2. 6 times 12 is 72, plus 2 is 74. And the next one is 9 times 12 plus 4. 9 times 12 is 108, plus 4 is 112. Okay, so I converted to inches. What must I do next? Yeah, we have to subtract because we're trying to find out how much longer. And this says in inches, but it'll be in feet and inches on the test. How much longer the board is. So 112 minus 74 comes out to be what? 38. That's 38 inches. What must I do to the 38 inches? Divide by 12. So if I divide 38 by 12, how many times does 12 go into 38 without going over? 3 times. What is 3 times 12? 36. What is the difference between 36 and 38? 2. So it's 3 feet 2 inches. If it takes Sarah 42 minutes to drive from her house to another one that is 63 miles away, in that case, how long would it take her to drive to Julie's house, which is 200 miles away? So what do I do first? Proportion. And what am I going to put in this spot? 42. What goes in this spot? 63. What goes here? X, yes. And of course the only thing left is 200. Alright. Now what do I do? Yeah, cross multiply. Do you have a question or were you going to say cross? Okay. So we cross multiply and we get 63x equals 42 times 200. 42 times 200 is 8,400. What do I do to solve for x? Yeah, divide by 63. So if I divide by 63, I come up with 133.3 repeating. And that's in terms of minutes. What should I do to that number? What do I do? We can't divide by 60 yet. We got to round it. So if we round it, it comes out to be what? 133. So now you divide it by 60 to change it into hours. How many times will 60 go into 133? 2 times. So there's 2 hours. What is 2 times 60? 120. What's the difference? 13. 2 hours and 13 minutes. John's reading the book, and I tell you that John can read 112 words per minute. He's waited till the last minute to do it, so now he's got to read a book that is 500 pages long. And if each page has 162 words on it, then how many hours should he set aside for this reading? What do I do to start this problem?
Make a proportion.
Not a proportion.
162 divided by 112.
Yeah, division problem. And 162 represents the number of words on the page, so don't forget that words go on the top. 162. And words per minute go on the bottom. 112. Divide that and come up with 1.446 and on out. Do I round that number or do I leave it in the calculator? Leave it in the calculator, yes. And what do I do to it? Multiply it by 500, yes. The number of pages, which in this case is going to be 500. So times 500 will give me 723.2 and on out. And that represents minutes. What must I do to this number? Round it. What do I round it to? 723. Now what do I do to it? Divide it by 60. Divide it by 60 so we can convert to hours and minutes. So we do 723 divided by 60, and it comes out to be 12.05, but we just need the 12 for the hours. What do I multiply the 12 by to figure out what the difference is? 60. So what's 12 times 60? 720. And what's the difference? 12 hours and 3 minutes. Can't fit the I in there. There it is. 12 hours and 3 minutes. John has determined that he can read about 150 words per minute. The book he must read is 600 pages long. And the words per page will be 170. How long should he set aside for reading this book? Remember that words per minute will be on the bottom. So that's 150 here, and then on top of that will be the number of words on a page. When you divide that out, you will come up with 1.1 and then the 3 repeats. Don't do anything with that. Leave it in your calculator. And then multiply that. I always put a mark there because later on people will look at that and think it's actually equivalent. It's not. So I just put the arrow in like that to show that we're just pointing in that direction. Multiply this by 600. And you should come up with what? 680, yes. So we have 680 minutes. It's hard for me to write when the marker is thin. Okay, 680 minutes. And I divide that by 60. How many times will 60 go into 680 without going over? 11 times. So that's 11 hours. And 11 times 60 is 660. So what's the difference between 660 and 680? 20, yes. So 11 hours and 20 minutes. Person 1 has 4 boards that are 3 feet 2 inches, and person 2 has 5 of them that are 4 feet 9 inches, and person 3 has 6 of them that are 2 feet 4 inches. What is the total length if you laid all those boards end to end, the total length, if you laid all of the boards end to end. First thing you're going to have to do is convert each of these into inches, and you do that by multiplying the feet by 12 and then add the excess inches. On the first one, you should end up with 38. On the second one, you end up with 57. And on the third one, you end up with 28. Did anybody end up with 38, 57, 28? Oh my. Not many. Okay, we'll see how this goes. Next, you have to multiply each of those conversions by how many boards there were in that group. So it's times 4, times 5, and times 6. On the first one, 38 times 4 is going to be 152. Did anybody get that? All right. And then on the next one, 57 times 5 is going to be 185. Did you get that? Oh, he's got it. How about the next one, 28 times 6, 168. Did anybody get 168?
I got 285.
Oh, is it 285? Oh, you're right, because 5 times 50 is 250. Okay, my fault. 285. I'm doing them in my head instead of using the calculator. All right, so once we get all of those, so 152, 285, and 168, we're going to do what to those? Add them together. All right. So 152, we'll just go down this way. We'll have 7, 15, and then carry a 1. That'll be 6, 14, 20, carry a 2, 5, and then 6. Did you get 605? All right, so 605 in inches is the total length, but we have to convert that to feet. So 605 divided by 12. 12 will go into 605 how many times? 50 times without going over. What's 50 times 12? 600. The difference is 5 inches. Now on the test, if I don't tell you what units to put it in, then whatever units you put it in will count. But if I say express the answer as feet and inches, you got to do that. If I say express it in yards, feet, and inches, you have to do that as well. But in this case, 50 feet, 5 inches will do. The answer on this bonus should be 6. So you have a test tomorrow. Again, it's 20 questions, 50 points each, and then the extra credit is 25 points each. There are 5 of those. And when you're done, you'll see how it works on test days. What you'll do is when you're finished, you'll gather up all your stuff, your work paper, the test, the answer sheet, bring it all up here. I'll have a stapler. You put the answer sheet on top, staple it together, drop it off, and pick up the assignment I'll have printed off for you in advance. And you got to work on that until everybody else is finished with the test.